Look at this beauty behind me. That is Silver Lake in all of its beauty, done in Blue Mill, the Virginia Quilt Museum fabric line. And this is the fundraiser that we're sewing along together to support the Virginia Quilt Museum. Hi, my friend. I'm Pat Sloan. This week we have another row, and ta-da. You know, they're just the same blocks over and over, which is a great mindless project to do. So I will be sewing this to the bottom and then sewing the other one to the bottom. So 2 more this coming week. I will sew this one and next week's on there. I like this. Look at the light colored one. Isn't that pretty? So pretty. So I can't wait to see your blocks. Show them in my group, Quilt Along with Pat Sloan. Remember, there is an official, I wrote the word official now because there is a bogus group that's been out there a very long time and I can't do anything about it. But now at least you won't get into the wrong one. And if you are in the wrong one, please come over to the correct one. And when you're sharing these different projects that we're doing together, if you would say that we're doing them together, say what the project is, because if you just say block 6, if we don't recognize it for some reason, we will probably just decline it because we don't know what you're talking about. So if you're sewing with me and if you are doing something here from the video, it's great if you say you're watching my video because that helps other people remember that I have videos that are on Facebook. Okay, so we have 2 other quilt-alongs, and I want to do the first one here is the Socialites. And remember, I'm letting you discover who designed the block. You can, when you go over and download it. There's a little bit about this one that is color-oriented because it depends on how you want the pattern on here to pop. Like on mine, you get this very distinct internal pinwheel. And as you watch and see other people's, some people may do this where these 2 are the same color. And then you get like a larger pinwheel that comes out because this light blue will come all the way out from, the center out. Some people have done very low contrast so that you don't really see the pinwheel at all. You could do something where this part comes towards you. Who knows? You could play around a lot with your fabrics on this one. And as always, the Fat Quarter Shop released this last Friday. And so because I put my videos out on Wednesday, I'm always kind of a week behind. But that's good because it's a reminder if you didn't get a chance to do this yet or didn't get a chance to watch the video from Kimberly at the Fat Quarter Shop, or if you're sewing along with Gina tells YouTube, she's also doing the blocks. Okay, and then we have the Scrappy blocks with my buddy Wendy. This is the book that we're using, and this week I have the center done and sewing the sides on. But first let me show you before I sewed the sides on. I have these verticals to sew together so you can see how all the baskets and shoe fly blocks look. Looks so good. All right, so I have to trim. Now, the next is you're going to need to start making these if you haven't started making. If you haven't started making the border units, start making them. I am going to put the inner border around because that's what I want. See, here's the inner border and then the outer border. So I'm going to sew these and then show you it with the inner border on. And by sides, I mean the inner border, not the borders, but the inner border. So I've done all the rows, the vertical rows, to the columns, however you want to say it. And then I put the inner border around. And you have the directions for that. That's on the additional download because all these individual patterns are from the different blocks within the book. So look how cute it is. I had a brief moment where I thought maybe I would make this sashing Scrappy, and then I bagged that. I just did the background that is in a lot of the blocks and is also the background I use for the border. I thought, okay, we're just gonna keep moving along. I didn't want to add more steps to what I was doing. Okay, so hold on a sec. Now you know that we're sewing this one from Wendy's book, and it's different pieces of the patterns that are coming into the sampler, parts of the different blocks. So you can see a lot of the different blocks here on the back. And the border is pulled from this cover quilt. And the idea for her book, of course, is all scrappy, so that she shows you how to use a lot of different scraps. And then this is one of the pages from the download that gives you all the other directions that you need for doing the sampler. Now she has on there to be working on your border, and then next week to put that inner border. But I wanted to put the inner border on while I was getting those verticals sewn. Here is what the outer border looks like. So you're going to work on these, and I will put them and have them on mine next week. So it's such a happy, cheerful quilt. There's so many gorgeous versions that you're sharing in the Quilt Along with Pat Sloan group. Oh my goodness, they are wonderful. They're so, so lovely. All right, so the rest of here I want to show you my little bee and a cross stitch, and then some fabric options I'm thinking of for the border around it. And then I just have some goodies and things to share that I've kind of collected up, and we're gonna take a look at those. It's all done. This is the center of the bee, and then I pulled some different fabrics to take a look at, and let's see what kind of options I have. I can't decide what will look best. So I have a stack here. I've got them folded so that they kind of look like a border. And I pinned this, clipped it with the Wonder Clips. I also put the Wonder Clip to clear on this side so I didn't have the color distracting me. Not that it's a huge distraction, but it's just every little thing helps. So there is a honeycomb, which I think is actually supposed to be a fence, like a chicken wire fence, but I think it looks like honeycomb. That's not bad. It's black. Here I gotta have the other one. You can't have them layered. Don't want to have the other visible under it. There's the yellow. I had thought about yellow, and I still kind of like that. It's light. It's not that dark, dense color. Here's the pattern cover. Now she has a pieced border on it, which is a separate pattern than the cross stitch one. But I still kind of like that one. Now here is one with bees. See the bees in there? And I thought, oh, that's really cool. And then the problem is it's large. The scale of the print is large. So for me, I'm like thinking, well, what's your border going to be? Am I going to fussy cut it so it's that? Like there you can kind of see on a corner what that would look like. And so that's just not going to work. It's just the scale of it is wrong. Here are some fireflies. I love fireflies. I thought, well, that's kind of cute. And it's dark, but it's not as dense as this one. So I'm liking that one. And this is an older fabric line from Ruby Society. Yeah, I kind of like that it's actually gray. It's dark gray with these black ferns. So and the last is the polka dot. And I know that you can never go wrong with a polka dot. But I'm kind of leaning maybe to something else. And then I also tried this as maybe a little very, very small inner border, which is what the pattern has there. And then the fireflies on the outside. Now it is, originally I thought maybe I would use black, and then I kind of like that charcoaly one with the fireflies. I kind of like the yellow. I kind of like those two combined, but also the polka dot is really good. So leave me a comment here and tell me here at YouTube, and tell me which option that you like. Hey, you know what? It's always helpful to hear, and I always love it when somebody picks the options that are like, I've kind of like taken off the radar, but you're like, but I like that one. And I'm sure it would look lovely. I think they all would look fine, except for maybe the gray with the patterns too big. The pattern's just out of scale, unless I wanted a really big border and a very small center. And I just think it was a little distracting. But other than that, I think all the other ones look pretty good. They could all work just fine. And Lori and Cindy sent me this super cute cup. It says, I'm cut from a different cloth, and they don't make that fabric anymore. we all know that feeling of not making that fabric anymore, and we all know that feeling of being cut from a different cloth, right? Love it. Thank you, ladies. You know that I showed you these Bogg bags the other day, or, well, probably a few weeks ago. I have them. They're behind me. See the pink and the red one? Well, the company, the Bogg company, they sent me an email and they said, would you like to have one of the newer bags? Take a pic. And I thought, you know, when they wrote this, it was kind of still chilly, messy out. And I thought, you know what, I really could use a black one. And this medium size is so amazing. So I said, well, if you have anything else that kind of goes with it, send that along. So they did. They sent the little charm hanger, and what's cool is the ones that they make are like a clip. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see it's a clip? Like, you know, so you don't have to, yeah, it's just like a little arm there. It's so good. So good. And I've got in here like my cross stitch to take. It can use, you know, you could take hand applique, you could put a quilt in here, you know, like a medium lap size quilt. You could put that in here. They're very sturdy. They're washable. They also sent me, look at this, this like accessory bag. I think this is what I'm going to put in my thread and all that, scissors and that kind of a thing. So it opens up, and again, these are all, it's got like a heavy duty bottom on it. So it sits. Whoops, it sits really, really well. And this is one of the new ones that has texture. So I think you can see that. Yeah, there you go. It's got like a basket weave texture versus the smooth. They also do some fun ones. I don't know. I might have to have their Christmas one next year because they do a Christmas one. But this is the medium size is, I think, a super useful to take with you for a lot of things. You could take just to any kind of place that you're going that you want to carry some decent amount of stuff with you for a project. Okay. The other thing that I wanted to show you was a couple other goodies. Now, I've had this one a long time, but I was thinking about it. Whoops, this is a Jolly Bar. There are still these Jolly Bars out here by April Rosenthal. And the pattern that comes, the free pattern that comes with the Jolly Bar is this one. And you can actually go on the link that I have in the description box in the pinned comment right to the Fat Quarter Shop. It's their exclusive pre-cut. And you can see what else you need to make this quilt besides the one Jolly Bar. But the Silver Lake got me thinking that this Jolly Bar would look so pretty in this pattern with a medium blue background. So I thought, okay, let's take a look. I just went ahead and pulled the blue mill that I'm using in Silver Lake, the museum fabric, and I thought, let's see, because look how great navy, let me just scroll in. Look how great the navy looks on there. Okay, that's like, I don't know why that's not scrolling nicely. There's the navy, and look here. Look how pretty that is. Look, oh, the same print. And the gingham, there is the floral that's got the red, and then there is the whites look great against here. And you could do any Jolly Bar pattern. Now their blue, their light blue is a little bit different, but there's only that one fabric that's in that light blue. So you would just pull, to me, I would just pull that one out. Everything else, the reds look amazing. These are a little bit brighter than the more traditional, but they look so good with this background. Look at that. Look how wonderful that looks. And their red gingham, red and white gingham, it just is gorgeous. There's a, look at the stripe. So I think there's another, there we go. Look at this. So this bar, there are not really any companion prints for, you know, to get the prints in yardage anymore, just the Jolly Bars. But there's plenty of Jolly Bars. And this quilt on the back is 52 by 74. So you could do a little bit wider by putting like a little extra wider border with whatever you're using for the background. But I just wanted to show you that because I thought it was very, like, it just sort of clicked in my head. It's like, oh, I think I would like that Irish, that chain in a, with a light blue background. Okay, the other thing I did the other day is I also had this bundle for a little while, and there's still some of these. It's called Frivolity, with the greens and the peaches and that gold, little gray. Oh, so pretty. But I had grabbed 2 patterns that use it. One is the coffee, and the other one has the little animals and things on it. But then I realized that there's actually a panel in this one, and the panel doesn't come in the fat quarter bundle. You know, you have to look. Some of the fat quarter bundles have panels with them, some do not. So I decided I better get that panel. I better, you know that feeling, right? You better get it. And then I thought, well, if I do this one with the panel, then I better have some of one of the golds. And you could do a solid, which is more, you know, like a little bit more economical, because solids are a little bit less. But I went ahead and got the print from the line. And I'll link you to all of this. But here is the panel. Let me hold it up. Now, I'm sure you'll see this panel, and it has like a big home, and I'm sure that would be cute. Like you could do it in a table runner, or you could just do like a banner or wall hanging with some blocks above and below it. But these 2 top panels are the ones that she used in that pattern. And then on the bottom, they're labels. They're labels. Aren't they sweet? They are so sweet. So there's still some of these left. Now, those 2 lines I just showed you, both the Americana and this one, are not real current, but there is still some out there. So if you like them, you know, of course, you know how that goes. You got to pick them up. You got to pick them up. Okay, my friend, I look forward to seeing your blocks from the quilt-alongs. And if you are looking for a nice sturdy project bag, either the medium size or maybe the smaller size, I do make a great big size too. I don't have one of those. Because it's a little bigger than what I need for my things, but it would definitely haul around a quilt so nice. But I will link you to all of them, and that way, if you want to have one too, you can. So, my friend, I love you. Mwah. Thank you for being here in the Sloan Zone. I will see you online.